everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode here at the podcast. Today, we do have another special guest with us today. She's going to tell us a little bit about herself and the great organization that she is a part of. So, without further ado, do you mind introducing yourself?
Hello. Faith Villegas, or Faith Harrison Villegas, Executive Director of the Bridgeport Public Education Fund, where we mentor youth for success in college careers and life. So,
Okay.
Having fun.
Okay. And where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I am originally from South Carolina, Florence to be exact. We moved to Connecticut February 14th, 1984. Yes, I remember the day. And we've been here since. I've been in Bridgeport for about 40 years. Oh, did I say that out loud? Oh, okay. 40 years in Bridgeport.
And what high school did you attend?
I am a mighty president, Warren Harding High School, the blue and gold. For those that don't know, you just found out.
Okay. And what type of student were you at Harding High School?
What type of student was I at Harding High School? It depends on who you ask, right? No, I'm joking. But I was a part of the Medical Careers Magnet program. When I first moved here, let me back up a little bit. When I first moved here, I attended Newfield Middle School. And that was a bit of a challenge because I didn't speak for 3 months because the transition was just too much, if you will. Then a year later, I ended up going to Dunbar, graduated from Dunbar in 1991. From there, Harding High School. And one thing I will say that was consistent throughout my time in education was that I always cared about other people. And I think it had a lot to do kind of with how you grow up. Like, my mom is one of 10, she's the baby, so there was always like family around and people that cared. Even if you didn't have a lot, what you did have, you shared. So community, family, close-knit, like that was important to me. But I think you, because we were in high school at some time together, and I think it would be fair to say that I was a very passionate person. Some may say argumentative, but I call it passionate. So.
Okay. And after graduating from Harding High School, did you go on to college or did you jump right into the workforce?
After high school, I ended up attending Southern Connecticut State University. It was not my first choice, but it ended up being my best choice. And I say that because my first choice was an HBCU. I was supposed to be a Howard Bison, okay? I went on the homecoming trip, which is still going on now with Miss Teresa Wilson and the VIP program. But back then, ooh, that sounds old. But back then, we went through the Smart Start program, and it was kind of coming out of Hall Neighborhood House at that time. But Miss Wilson was there, Mr. Sandy Harden was there, God bless his soul, and they really opened up our eyes to education and people that look like us. And I say that because although we are in a community where we are considered the minority, going to an HBCU felt extremely different because you felt a sense of community. Like, going back to my childhood, right? You felt that sense of community. You felt that sense of, wow, I have a support system here. Like, they get it. I don't have to explain things to them. They know what it is to grow up and be a person of color in this country. So, attended Southern, first year academic probation. Couldn't believe it, but slowly but surely got it together because my mother just was not having it. And she made sure to check me really quick and early on. And I think that shaped why I embarked on the career path that I did.
Okay. And what did you major in at Southern University?
Partying. No, I'm joking. First semester, partying and accounting, right? But I was in accounting for the time I needed to spend in class and in the library and studying. So that's when I realized accounting as a major and as a career would not be for me. Oddly enough, I would literally fall asleep in the classes, but I thought it was something that I wanted because as a young person at Rappola Taylor Community Center, they used to have books and things of that nature, and we would, I would do like bookkeeping and ledgering and stuff, so I just knew like, wow, I might want to make a career out of this, and they get paid a lot of money. It was like a no-brainer, except my brain was not functioning when I went to class. I was falling asleep. Someone said to me, why don't you try like some intro classes to the helping profession? Because I noticed that a lot of your peers come to you. And I kind of brushed it off and was like, yeah, no, I don't think so. Like, I need to make a lot of money. That's it. But I ended up taking an intro to the human services profession, and social work and minors in psychology and sociology is where I landed, and the best choice I could have made because I met my husband there too. So.
Okay, all right. So let's talk a little bit about Bridgeport Public Education Fund. What is Bridgeport Public Education Fund and your role within the organization?
Okay. The Bridgeport Public Education Fund is a small nonprofit here in the city of Bridgeport. And I use the term small purposely, right? Because we are unique to our community. The organization was founded in 1983, right before we were even thinking about school. We were just little. And it was founded by 4 people. One person was the president of what was People's Bank at that time. One person was the superintendent. Another one was running School Volunteer Association, so getting a number of business and civic communities together to come into the Bridgeport Public Schools to tutor and do some reading and math enrichment. And the 4th person was a community person, right? So they were a philanthropist, but they also had a role in the Bridgeport Post at the time. So if you've been around long enough, the Bridgeport Post used to be the Connecticut Post, or the Connecticut Post used to be the Bridgeport Post. And back in 1983, they were concerned about the low college attendance rate, but also the fluctuating or high dropout rate for our high school students. So these were people who did not even have children in the Bridgeport public school systems, but they worked here, they lived here. And for them, they felt a strong sense of responsibility to provide for the future generations. And from 1983 till 2024, we're still operating in year 41, right? 41. And we have expanded our services. We started off doing mini grants to teachers because the thought was if you provide the resources, you help students with some project-based learning, they'll, learn a bit more, student outcomes will improve. That was working well. We did that up until about 1993 and transitioned that into a celebration, if you will, called the Inspiration Awards, which is in its 30th year. And if you are available, May 1st, 3:30, Trumbull Marriott, please come, where we will be honoring and hoping to inspire the next generation of educators who come through the doors of the Bridgeport Public Schools. But most importantly, I think the most critical portion of the Ed Fund is in our direct service. So not only are we providing funding for classroom or many projects in the community, we also started to provide direct services in 1988. So the MAX program, MAACS, mentoring for academic achievement and college or career success. That program, 1988, started off at Bassick High School, our first high school, and by 2012, we were at all of the Bridgeport public high schools that were, opened at the time. And as you know, Fairchild Wheeler and Bridgeport Military Academy are newer schools, but we have a presence in those schools as well. But we started to do that direct service because it was a community need, right? So you can't just give out money and expect the impact to be great, right? So the organization at the time decided, let's provide mentoring for these young kids. Let's make sure that we're helping them to, for one, establish goals, short and long-term goals, right? What are their aspirations? Do they truly want to go to college? Do they want to go to trade school? What do the students want to do? So they started to develop that work along with some of their community partners, which happen to be the local colleges and universities in our Fairfield County footprint. And we would get mentors, and we still get mentors from the local colleges who come in 2 to 3 times per week in the high schools that we serve to really help the students develop their plan to graduate from high school, but also what are we going to do post high school. So that's a little bit of the work that we do at the Ed Fund, which we affectionately call ourselves, right? Because BPEF seems too long for some people. But we also, in 2003, created another program, which is called the College Assistance Program. That program, I will say, is literally my heart, because it takes all of the work that we were doing with our young people in high school, and we follow them through college. And by following them through college, it's not just a check-in, hey, how are you, an email, hope you're doing well. No, we are providing semester stipends for those students. Send us your grades, send us your schedule so that we know that you plan to go back the following semester. You will get a check sent to you every time you do that. We also have emergency financial assistance. So when our young people are experiencing tuition gaps, when they cannot afford all of their textbooks, when transportation becomes a barrier to getting to and from school, we provide that funding for our students. It's not a loan, they don't have to pay it back, it's a gift, it's a commitment. It's literally a promise from our organization to the students that allow, and I use the term allow, us to be a part of their life as they are transitioning from teenage to young adulthood. So really, really important stuff. And lastly, we do community conversations, and that's along our lines of advocacy, right? And that means for us as an organization that we need to be understanding of what's happening, not just in our Bridgeport community, but statewide, so that we again can respond to the needs of our community. So lots of work, still doing it, and lots of success. So
okay. And you also have a program called the Learning Labs.
mm-hmm.
What is that about?
The Learning Labs, I'm glad you asked. So remember I talked about responding to community needs? So we are very engaged in the school day. We are a part of the school community because we have offices in every single school that we serve. So for the past 2 years, especially during COVID, we started to see a trend in early graduates. So students were exiting the Bridgeport Public Schools in mid-January, but many of them did not know what the next steps were, because typically you figure all that out in the spring semester, right? So it was kind of like, what are we gonna do now to address this, new need, if you will? So myself and the staff got together and said, what exactly can we do without, blowing up our mission or, kind of going off the rails? And we decided that having learning labs would be the most appropriate, because we would be able to concentrate our efforts on a respective population of students who would potentially be early graduates of the Bridgeport Public Schools, but also ensuring that they've got deeper into the work, right? Because if I can't have them for the school year, I had to condense what we're able to do with them. So the learning labs, we piloted them this year at the Bridgeport Public Library. We had a couple of sessions that talked about financial aid, the Common App, resume writing, financial literacy. Matter of fact, we have another one this Wednesday because the FAFSA just kind of got sorted out. So we have a facilitator who will be coming in to help families really do the learning part. So providing that update, providing the knowledge or the information that students will need. The other half of the lab, the learning lab, lab indicates now we get down to work. So we're going to present information at the first half of the learning lab, but then we're also going to apply it immediately while we're in that space. So students will be completing scholarship applications, ensuring that their FAFSAs are, correct, ready to be sent to their schools. And if you've already done your FAFSA, guess what? Let's sit down here, let's do these scholarship applications, let's get these resumes going. Let's make some phone calls because it's needed.
All right. Can you give us some examples of a success story of a kid being part of Bridgeport Public Education Fund?
So I have a student who did not come from the typical nuclear family structure. Lots of transiency as she was progressing through middle and high school. And it was really, really tough for this young lady. When you're sleeping on couches, you don't really know where your home is. I mean, it's to a point where, do I have a dresser to put my clothes in, right? I'm a high school student. And, but this young lady, she endured. And she now has her doctorate. So as you know, she got her bachelor's in North Carolina, came back to Connecticut, attended another private institution here, and then she completed her doctorate degree, and now she is a dean at a charter school in New York, running one of their departments. And if she's willing to share her name and more about her story, I will definitely refer you to her. But she'll be coming back to Bridgeport to do some pretty cool things for the community because for her, it's important to get back, and we appreciate that. So I spoke to her actually on Friday. So we're collaborating and working with some more youth, and that's really what the work is about, right? It's not just who's accomplished what, but once you have accomplished that, what are you going to do with it? Are you coming back to your community? Are you helping light the pathway for the next generation to come? And I think that's really what matters to me because I came back to Bridgeport. It was intentional.
Okay. Now, it seems that this organization approach is to mentor, support, and encourage quality education. And this is being done from multiple angles or multiple fronts. One working with the students, and the other one is honoring and recognizing great teachers here in the city of Bridgeport. But it seems to be a missing piece here when it comes to education here in the city of Bridgeport, and that's the parents. And how do one engage or try to encourage the parents to be more engaged in their child's education?
That's a really, really great question. I think that we can approach that in so many ways, but one of the first things I will say is I think parent education is important. Give parents something that they need, right? So it's greater than showing up to my child's school, shaking the teacher's hand and saying, hey, I'm Johnny's mom. If you have problems, just call me. Or I don't know about you, but we would always get those index cards at the beginning of every school year. And me personally, having two children who also attended Bridgeport Public Schools, I volunteered a lot. There were plenty of opportunities to do that. I would encourage any parent. If you don't know what to do, do something, right? That something could be chaperoning your child's field trip. You get to not only spend time with your child, but you get to actually engage with other educators, other babies, and learn a little bit more about what your child experiences every day. You have your PACs, right? Your parent advisory councils. You have your parent, teacher, student organizations. You have your school governance council. But you also have your board of ed that have public, open meetings. They have committees in which parents can be a part of. It can sound intimidating, but we also have training, right? We have the Parent Leadership Training Institute. We have so many other organizations that can help parents to build up their communication skills if they feel like that's a barrier. If you, again, if you are a parent in the city of Bridgeport, how are you, do you take the time to walk 2 or 3 other kids to the bus stop? It doesn't always have to be in that school building per se to be engaged, but I think for our parents, we have to, for one, value them, right? Help them to understand they are the greatest and the largest stakeholders in this community, right? So how do we leverage that? How do we help them to understand that we need them? Because you can ask a lot of things to people, right? And you would think it's common sense. Your children are in school. Why are you not there? There could be a number of reasons. So outside of just, going through the suggested of volunteering, chaperoning, taking leadership roles, right? For PAC president, PTSO president, district PAC. Outside of those things, what else can we do? Could it be a community cleanup around your child's school? Could it be helping to fundraise to get a better playground or new playground equipment? It's not just showing up on the campus. You can engage in so many ways. So I think taking a step back for us to explore what all of that could look like. But I think in its totality, you will get parents who are engaged. You will help everyone to understand this is a loving, thriving community that cares about our young people. So, and parents first.
And in your current role, what is the most rewarding thing in what you're doing, advocating quality education for kids?
There's so many rewards in this work, but every year, I think it changes for me. So this year, 2024, I think the most rewarding thing for me is having opportunities like this to help shape the narrative around public education, around the Bridgeport community, around youth, around parents, around my community, around your community, right? That's been, we're only 3 months in, get it, but that has been the most rewarding for me this year. Past years, and I want to say even still, it's really, really seeing a young person who comes to you as a freshman in high school, so unsure of themselves, a young person who says, "Miss, I cannot go to college," and they're a junior, and I'm just like, what do you mean? Do you want to go? Yes, but Miss, I can't. Why can't you? Helping them to explore and build their self-confidence and kind of letting them go out the nest so they can soar, not just fly. These kids are soaring. And I think that's the most rewarding thing to, like, every day, honestly. I would say we get a call once per week from an alumni to just update us. "Miss, I'm a contractor with the Air Force now. Miss, my baby is 2 and I have my doctorate." Like, those are and I bought my first home. And my parents were migrants here. And here I am, a first-generation college student, and I was able to purchase my own home before the age of 25. It's seeing those young people at 14 and 15 years old, 10 years down the line, and they are just crushing it. And the unfortunate part is it's hard to tell their stories because people think so negatively about Bridgeport as a community. they think so negatively about our schools. And yes, they are in need of improvement. You won't get an argument from me there. But all is not lost. And I think we need to start focusing on the ones who are doing just as well, not always on the ones who are not.
Okay. And how can kids and parents get more information to be involved in the Bridgeport Public Education Fund?
Okay, so parents, students, community members, businesses, you all can find more information about the Bridgeport Public Education Fund at our website, bpef.org. We also are on all social media platforms, BPEF, Bridgeport Public Education Fund. But I also encourage reaching out, having those one-on-ones if you want to, kind of come to the office, get some more in-depth knowledge about what we do. But if you are a student in Bassett, Bridgeport Military Academy, Central, and Fairchild Wheeler, and I'm working on Hardin High School, I would love for you to stop into one of our sites and interact with our staff, ask them questions. You can also find out more from your school counselors. Every school counselor in the schools I just mentioned, they know us really, really well, really, really well, and they tend to actually refer a number of students to us. So there's multiple ways you can reach out, and if you want to be a little bit old school, 203-331-0551 is the telephone number, and we're actually located on the University of Bridgeport campus at 271 Park Avenue. So come on down, give us a call, email, whatever you would like to do, website, but we welcome the support, we welcome the questions, the inquiries, and how we can just be of service to our community, because that's really what we're about. We had a tagline: public engagement, public involvement, public benefit. And that's what we seek to do.
All right, thank you, Faith, for taking time out your busy schedule to come on this platform and talk about your organization and the great work that you guys are doing out here for the city youth. We really do appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.